First off, what's your reaction to news of these executions?
Well, what it shows is the depths of depravity that the Myanmar junta is now prepared to descend to in order to try to reassert control of political power in that country. The country has slid into civil war, and now they are executing political prisoners, people who have been tried before military tribunals and closed trials that were frankly not fair. It is a new low for this military junta, and it shows the failure of the international community to recognize that they have to do something. The international community continues to throw this issue over to the regional body, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and they're simply not prepared to deal with it. So now the Myanmar military junta has taken a further step beyond the crimes against humanity and other things they've already been doing against civilians in the country. And the reaction now has to come from the international community. They need to step up and do something.
Myanmar has not carried out an execution in decades. Do you think it's the lack of international action that's led to this, with Myanmar following through with this now?
I think that they have figured out the international community is distracted. They're focused on Ukraine and other crises, and they've decided that now is the time to use this tactic to try to intimidate and force the silence of the Myanmar people. It's not going to work. I think the Myanmar people are just going to get angrier and more determined to fight against this brutal military. But what it shows is just how bad the situation is getting in Myanmar, and that the international community now needs to really talk about sanctioning these military commanders and imposing an international arms embargo and all the things that we called for last year, which they didn't do.
Do you think this will be a turning point then for the international community to actually step up and address crimes against humanity in Myanmar?
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, I think that we have been struggling really to get attention to this crisis. And the reality is that the international community has fallen down time and time again on this. I think that if there's going to be more executions of this sort, and it's very likely there may be, that the international community will have to recognize that the inaction is no longer the way forward, that they can no longer continue to sit on the sidelines and twiddle their thumbs and hope the situation works out by itself.
What do you think this all means for democracy going forward in the country and just the state of the situation in Myanmar in general?
Well, I think that the crisis of human rights and democracy in Myanmar is ultimately going to be resolved, unfortunately, by this civil war. I don't see a restoration of democracy taking place under a military junta like this one. The Myanmar people won't stand for it. The Myanmar people, I think, want to fundamentally chase out the military, and they want to change their constitution and the way that their country has been governed. They've suffered for more than 50 years under military dictatorship. Then they had democracy, and now it's been taken away again. So they've had enough of this military, and this military has to be fundamentally reformed in a way that will never pose a political threat to the aspirations of the people of Myanmar again.
All right, we'll leave it there. Phil Robertson, Deputy Director in the Asia Division at Human Rights Watch. Thank you.